Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Sarosh and I am a foundation level student at Rehan School, FIT campus, Islamabad. And today I am doing a ChatGPT and my topic is what's the matter. So let's start it. Hello ChatGPT, can you listen me?
Yes, absolutely, Sarosh. I'm here and I'm listening carefully. I'd love to help you with your topic on what's the matter. What kind of direction or focus are you thinking about for your talk or project?
Okay ChatGPT, today I have some questions for you. Can we start it?
Of course. I'm ready whenever you are. Just go ahead and ask your questions, and I'll do my best to help you out.
Okay, so my first question is that what does the phrase what's the matter really means?
Great question. So, the phrase, what's the matter, is basically a way of asking, is something wrong or what's going on? People usually use it when they notice that someone might be upset or something seems off. It can be used casually, like with friends, or more formally in conversations.
So ChatGPT, why do we ask this question when someone looks upset?
Yeah, that's a good point. We ask what's the matter because we're showing care and concern. It's a way to open up a conversation so the person feels safe to share what's going on. It's kind of a gentle way of checking in without being too direct.
Okay, that's a great answer. So ChatGPT tell me that is concern a form of care or curiosity?
That's a really interesting question. Concern is usually a form of care. It's when we're genuinely worried about someone's well being. Curiosity, on the other hand, is more about wanting to know facts or details without necessarily having an emotional investment. So, concern tends to come from a caring place, whereas curiosity is more neutral.
So my next question is that how is concern different from worry?
Good one. So concern is usually more personal and emotional. You feel it when you care about someone's situation. Worry, on the other hand, is often more about anxiety or fear that something bad might happen. So worry is more about you feeling uneasy, whereas concern is more about focusing on the other person's well being.
So my next question is that why do humans naturally feel concern for others?
Yeah, that's a really common stereotype, but it's also a bit more complicated. Often it's shaped by social and cultural expectations. Women are often taught or encouraged to be caretakers from a young age. Of course, anyone, regardless of gender, can feel concern naturally. It's really just about personality, empathy, and experiences.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is that can concern be both emotional and practical?
Absolutely. Concern can be both. Emotionally, it's that feeling of care or compassion you have for someone, but practically, it can also lead you to take action, like offering help, making a plan, or finding resources. So it has both an emotional and a practical side.
So
Yeah, I'm glad.
ChatGPT, my next question is that what makes someone feel concerned about another person?
That's a really good question. Usually it comes from a personal connection. If we care about someone, we naturally pick up on their emotions or struggles. It can also come from shared experiences or just a strong sense of empathy when we imagine how they might feel in that situation.
So ChatGPT, why do we notice when someone's mood changes?
Yeah, we tend to notice because we pick up on subtle cues like changes in their body language, tone of voice, or even how they interact with us. Our brains are wired to be sensitive to these shifts, especially if we have a close relationship. So we often just instinctively notice when something's off.
Okay, my next question is that how does empathy create concern?
Great question. So, empathy is basically the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. When you really understand how they feel, that emotional connection naturally sparks concern. It's like a bridge. Your understanding of their emotions motivates you to care and take action.
So ChatGPT, can concern be a learned behavior?
Definitely. Concern can be learned over time, especially through role models, personal experiences, or being raised in an environment that values empathy. So, even if it's not automatic, people can develop it by practicing listening and paying attention to others' needs.
So ChatGPT, my next question is that why do we feel uneasy when someone is silent?
Yeah, that's a really common reaction. Often silence can feel uncertain or even awkward because we're used to verbal cues. Our brains sort of jump to fill in the gap, maybe wondering if something is wrong or if we missed a sign. So that unease often comes from not knowing what's behind the silence.
So my next question is that does concern increase emotional connection?
Yes, absolutely. When we express concern, it signals that we're paying attention and that we care. And that in turn deepens trust and emotional closeness because the other person feels seen and valued. So concern really is a bridge that strengthens relationships.
So ChatGPT, tell me that can too much concern become in anxiety?
Yeah, it can. When concern goes on for too long or when we can't do anything to help, it can start to feel like anxiety. Our minds go into overdrive, and instead of just caring, we feel overwhelmed or stuck in worry. So it's really about balance and being mindful of how it affects us.
Okay, so my next question is that why does the brain respond to emotional changes in others?
Great question. Our brains are wired for social connection. There are mirror neurons that help us simulate others' emotions. So when we see someone change emotionally, our brain sort of steps in, helping us understand or even feel what they feel. It's a survival tool. Being tuned into others helps us cooperate and survive as a species.
So ChatGPT tell me that how does asking what's the matter build a relationship?
Yeah, so when you ask what's the matter, it shows that you're present and paying attention. It opens up a space for the other person to share, which builds trust. And when they feel heard, they feel closer to you. So it creates a real emotional bond and deeper connection in the relationship.
So ChatGPT, my next question is that can concern strengthen in relationship?
Absolutely. When we show concern, it signals that we care and that we're invested in the other person's well being. Over time, consistently showing concern builds trust, emotional safety, and a deeper sense of connection. So it really can strengthen a relationship.
So my next question is that why do we care more about close people?
Yeah, that's a natural thing. We care more about close people because we have stronger emotional bonds with them, shared experiences, trust, and a sense of belonging. So when they're happy or struggling, it just impacts us more. Our brains and emotions are tuned to prioritize them.
So my next question is that does concern show love and kindness?
Yeah, absolutely. Concern is really a form of love and kindness in action. When we're concerned, we're putting someone else's well being first. And that willingness to care and respond shows a lot of kindness, even if it's just a small gesture.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is that how does emotional support help others help heal?
Great question. So, emotional support really helps others feel less alone and more understood. And when we offer that support, it also makes us feel more connected, purposeful, and valued. So, it creates this positive cycle. Helping others boosts their well being and deepens our own sense of fulfillment.
So tell me that why do small questions sometimes matters most?
Yeah, that's really true. Small questions like what's the matter can open big doors because they show attention and care in a simple way. They create a pause that lets someone feel seen. So, even though they're small, they can have a really big emotional impact.
So ChatGPT is what's the matter always verbal concern?
Not always. It can be verbal, like when we ask the question, but it can also be nonverbal, like a concerned look, a gentle touch, or even just being present. So concern can come through in many different ways, not just words.
So ChatGPT, how does tone affect this question?
Tone is super important. If you ask what's the matter with a calm, caring tone, it sounds safe and supportive. But if the tone is rushed or dismissive, it might not have that same effect. So the tone really shapes how the concern is received.
So my next question is that can body language show concern without words?
Oh, definitely. Things like a soft gaze, a gentle nod, open posture, or even leaning in can all communicate concern really clearly. So, body language is a really powerful tool, too.
So ChatGPT, why do people sometimes avoid asking this question?
Yeah, that's a good point. People might avoid it if they're afraid of making the other person uncomfortable or they worry they don't have the right words to help. Sometimes it's just because they're nervous about how the person will respond or whether they'll open up.
Okay, ChatGPT, that's a great answer. So ChatGPT, tell me that is silence sometimes a better response than words?
Yeah, it can be. Silence can give someone space to process their emotions or just feel held without needing a lot of explanation. It's not about being passive. Sometimes that quiet, attentive presence says more than words ever could.
Okay, so ChatGPT, my next question is that why do we ask what's the matter to friend and what how does concern help in difficult times?
That's a really interesting question. So, when we ask what's the matter to a friend, it's really a simple way of expressing care. We're signaling that we're open, we're listening, and we're ready to help. And that sense of concern really does a lot. It gives people a moment to feel seen, heard, and less alone, which can be a huge source of comfort when things get tough.
So ChatGPT tell me that can concern improve teamwork at school or work?
Absolutely. When team members show concern for each other, whether it's in school, at work, or any group setting, it really builds trust and a sense of psychological safety. People feel more comfortable sharing ideas, asking for help, and taking risks. So, that kind of mutual care actually boosts collaboration, creativity, and resilience, which is super valuable in any team setting.
So ChatGPT, my next question is that why do we feel responsible for others' emotion?
Yeah, that's a really deep one. I think a big part of it is that humans are naturally social beings. We evolved to be part of groups, and we're wired to pick up on emotional cues, like a kind of emotional mirroring. When someone close is struggling, it taps into our empathy, and we naturally feel a sense of responsibility, almost like we're emotionally connected. Of course, it's a balance. We can care without taking on their burden entirely, but that instinct to care is really fundamental.
So ChatGPT, my next question is that should we always ask when someone looks sad?
That's a really thoughtful question. I think it's important to gauge the situation. If someone looks off or withdrawn, it can be a gentle, caring gesture to ask, just to let them know you're there. But if they seem like they need space or they push back, it's also important to respect that boundary. So it's really about being attentive, being sincere, and letting them lead the way after that.
So my next question is that is consent part of emotional intelligence?
Absolutely. It really is. Emotional intelligence is all about being aware of both your own emotions and others. And concern is a key part. It's about tuning into someone's feelings, showing empathy, and responding appropriately. So when we actively express concern, we're essentially exercising our emotional intelligence, helping
So
us build
ChatGPT,
stronger, more
how
trust.
does empathy improve understanding of others?
Yeah, that's a great point. Empathy really bridges the gap between us and others because it lets us step into their shoes, seeing the world from their perspective. When we empathize, we understand their emotions, their motivations, and their needs in a deeper way. That understanding reduces misunderstandings, builds trust, and really helps us respond in a way that's more caring and constructive.
So ChatGPT can concern help solve conflicts.
Definitely. When we show genuine concern, it creates a sense of safety and openness. People in conflict often feel defensive or unheard, but when we express care, it softens those barriers. It doesn't necessarily fix everything instantly, but it opens up a dialogue. People feel seen, and that gives them the capacity to listen, reflect, and work toward resolution together.
So my next question is that why do some people ignore emotional signals?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Sometimes people just aren't fully in tune with their own emotions or others. It could be due to stress, past experiences, or even just how they were raised. And sometimes people might ignore signals because they're afraid of getting emotionally involved, or maybe they don't know how to respond. It's a mix of different factors, but it can definitely create distance if left unchecked.
So my next question is that how can we become more emotionally aware?
That's a great question. I think a big part is just slowing down and paying attention to how you feel and how others might feel. Practices like mindfulness really help because they bring you into the present moment. And also just being curious, asking open questions, noticing body language, and reflecting on how things impact you can really grow your emotional awareness over time.
So ChatGPT can concern make a person more compassionate.
Absolutely. When we practice concern, it's like a muscle. We're tuning into others' experiences, and that naturally fosters empathy. Over time, as we care more and respond with kindness, we become more compassionate. So it's really like a feedback loop. Concern nurtures compassion, and compassion strengthens our connections.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question is that how can we show healthy concern without overthinking?
That's a great point. I think the key is really about balance and self awareness. You don't have to fix everything or overthink every response. You can show healthy concern just by being present, offering a listening ear, asking gentle, open questions, and letting them set the pace. It's really about being authentic. No need for perfection, just genuine care.
So tell me that what is the difference between caring and worrying too much?
Yeah, that's a really important distinction. Caring is about showing up for someone, being present, and offering support without losing yourself. But wearing too much means you're absorbing their emotions, taking on their burden, and maybe neglecting your own needs. So it's all about setting boundaries, staying grounded, and caring, but also protecting your own emotional well being.
So my next question is that what's the matter teach us about humanity?
That's a beautiful question. I think What's the Matter really shows us that at our core, we have this deep desire to connect and care. It's a reminder that we don't have to have all the answers. We just need to be present, curious, and willing to listen. In that simple question, we see humanity's universal need for support and understanding.
So ChatGPT, my next question is that can concern make us better humans?
I think it really can. When we actively express concern, we're practicing empathy, openness, and respect. And that kind of conscious care toward others helps us grow too. It makes us more patient, more understanding, and ultimately more connected. So, yes, concern can be a real catalyst for becoming better humans.
So viewers, this is my ChatGPT. Hope so you like it. Meet you in the next video. Pakistan Zindabad. Khuda